Hello, welcome to this video on flipped classroom, the CPD I've been asked to do. I've I have flipped my classroom in my lower sixth class this year, and so I just wanted to give you a little insight into how it works. I thought the best way to do that with a little hands-on approach, show you kind of what I do. So I'll start with kind of a little bit of theory behind it, why it's something that I've put in place, and then in the session on Wednesday, what we'll do is we'll go through kind of the logistics, the difficulties, and any questions kind of that you have on it. What also this enables me to do is a couple of people have come to see me and said, they'd really like to come along, but they're not available to come on Wednesday, so they can watch this video and then go through anything with me that they want to. And I suppose that kind of highlights one of the advantages as a teaching tool. If you do have absences from your class, it's easy for the students to then catch up. So yeah, let's make a start, go through kind of why and how this all kind of gets put together. Okay, so if I talk about a traditional classroom and then how it works in relation to a flipped classroom. So traditional classroom, I'm not going to spend much time on this because obviously you'll know kind of how you'll do your teaching. But in a traditional classroom, essentially I suppose I would stand at the front and I would give theory and lessons. So I'd say that I'm giving here the theory and lessons. Theory in lesson. And then I suppose, essentially, if we get it down to a fundamental level, then they practice that for prep. So practice for prep. They're the fundamentals that are kind of changed, that are flipped in my flipped classroom. So they get their theory for prep, which essentially would consist of them watching a video much like this one, and then they would practice in class. My handwriting's getting worse and worse, but they practice in class. So fundamentally, that's what a flipped classroom does. We do our theory for our prep and practice it in class. So why do we do it? I'm going to go down the page just to continue this. Why do we do it? Here's the interesting bit. This is the bit that kind of sold me on the idea. What it enables me to do is spend more time with individuals in class. So more one-on-one. So for instance, in my lower sixth class this year, I had one individual who struggled to keep up with the workload as much as the others. What I was able to do was at the start of every lesson was to go through the videos with him, go through what he'd written down and kind of fill in any gaps that he was unsure on. And so it's much more catered to his needs when I'm in class. So there's more one-on-one time. Second reason is I can set more rich tasks. More rich tasks. Now I'm going to go through a few of them in the session on Wednesday, but essentially what I'm talking about here, more group work, more real difficult questions. Instead of them answering 10 questions, regurgitating the type of thing that I'm doing, ask them to apply the theory and to kind of hopefully deepen their understanding of what they're doing. So there's more rich tasks that they can do. Interesting, the next one. The next point is that it's more catered delivery. Kind of making this up as I go along, so I don't know whether that's the best phrase. But essentially what I'm saying here is when they're watching a video, it can be more catered to their own individual needs. Now my videos developed, I think, a lot over the course, and I can talk about what I thought worked, what I thought didn't. But my more catered delivery essentially means if I've got a person struggling on a certain concept, they can rewind it, watch it again, which I can't quite do in class. Okay, they can ask again and I can explain something again, but they could watch them again and they can hone into the specific bit that they want answered, and they can just watch how that develops, how the theory is built upon over time. Next benefit, I think, coming from the flipped classroom is it becomes a valuable revision tool. valuable revision tool. So over the course of this year, my lower 6th class, I use a website to host all of my videos. So it's all in a central location, and it's split up into topic that line up with their textbook, so they can look through the videos that relate to theory. I was also able to set tasks on there, so it all kind of fits together, and they can hopefully hone into, go back to a video and any topic they were unsure on when it came to revision time. Okay, so I'll start on a new page. I'll give you a quick flavour of something that I might ask them to do. So I might say, I don't know, what's everyone's favourite maths topic? Probably quadratic formula. So if I ask you to solve the quadratic, let's put a title. We could say maybe we've exhausted the idea of completing the square and factorising this, and there's this quadratic formula we're really struggling to solve. And it could be that it's, I don't know, 7x squared plus 5x minus 12 equals 0. And we're really struggling to solve this. We can't factorise it, as I've said. We could say, I want you guys to know that there is a formula that you can use. Now, it looks quite difficult, but essentially the formula is a case of plugging in numbers and giving it a go. So our formula looks like this, and if I move that up a touch, our formula looks like this. And this is something not that you need to learn, you'll get it in your formula booklet, but minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. It's all coming back to you now, isn't it? All over 2a. And there's a load of really cool songs and videos that I could show you that relate to that, enable you to enable you to remember it, but it is in your IGCSE formula booklet, so don't panic anyone. Now, essentially, all we need to do is we need to plug in the numbers. A is a number in front of the x squared, B is a number in front of the x, and C is the number that's on its own without any x. Oops, I didn't mean to draw that, so if I undo. So hopefully I'm asking the class to write this all down as they go, and they can see they've got their 7x squared plus 5x minus 12. What I'll do is I'll keep it all here together, but if I delete that, so we could plug it into the equation, minus 5 plus or minus square root of minus 5 squared minus 4 times 7 times 12 all over 2 times a, 2 times 7. And you plug that into your calculator, you'll get two answers coming out. One for the positive, which I can then get rid of if I was just making a point, and one for the negative. Okay, that's all the maths I'm going to expose you to. Don't panic, that's it. I just wanted to give you a flavour of the type of thing that I might get them to do, and then I might start by... What this means is that I can start the lesson in the knowledge that they've seen what the quadratic formula is, they've seen an application of it. Some of them will be able to get straight on and do it, some won't, but I can then cater the lesson accordingly. So I guess that gives a little example of how I find in maths that I can have kind of use different learning styles. There's verbal learning, visual is catered for. And those of you who needed to go back and look at the quadratic formula again, you can rewind, pause, fast forward. Those of you who have seen it and use it quite regularly. And that's really, I suppose, all I want to cover today. As I say, I'll talk about some of the stuff I do in class in the session on Wednesday. Also, the apps that I use. That's probably something that will be useful for you. So, the app I'm using for this on my iPad, and all I'm doing is I'm talking to my iPad and drawing on it with a pen that I have. You can obviously just use your finger. So the apps that I'm using... I've chosen to use Explain Everything for this one. I do use two. This one's Explain Everything. This one does cost money. I think it's a few pounds on the on the App Store. There is a free one as well. Now there is a benefit to paying, which we can go through, but the other one I use is called Edu Creations. Oh, CREATIONS. That one's a free one, which you can download in preparation for Wednesday. I think you do need to sign up for it with your email account. Benefits and disadvantages to both, but I'll let you play with my explain everything if you want to see if it's something you want to buy. And then we'll kick on from there on Wednesday. But if you just bring along any questions that you have, I'll happily go through it with you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you Wednesday.